All right, hello everybody, and welcome to round 10 here in Group 2. Apologies, and I'm just trying to get set up the last bit of the way. Thank you, Viperize, for that little piece of info here. But yeah, on to round 10 of what has been a very exciting, very competitive Season 9 here in Group number 2. 18 drivers lined up, at least currently, to get racing here on what is one of my more favorite circuits on the F1 calendar of Spa-Francorchamps, the longest circuit, of course, on the F1 calendar. So we'll only see 22 laps of racing once we get into full bore. But again, absolutely great circuit, lots of high speed. Can continue to really work those cars. Very low downforce as well. You see a lot of high-speed, twisty sections, but you'll not see wings generally above 15 on the front for the front runners, and probably about as low as 3 or 4 on the rear, as Dawson, even on a recon lap there, going a little bit wide, which means that Owen is going to lead everybody out for a first lap. Of course, yesterday's Group 1 race was green effectively from light to flag. Certainly a couple of scuffles in that one, but definitely check that race out if you haven't already. They'll say on board for Owen with the first lap here. Gabicho disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So Gabicho here out of qualifying. And will start from the tail of the field, but Owen will stay on board with. Of course, you got the kind of short run down to turn 1, even if DRS is still activated. Tight hairpin. Might see some carnage there on turn 1. Got the little kink, but then you run down into the Radion and Eau Rouge complex. Of course, flat out in the Formula 1 cars, but you want to stay off the curbs as much as possible. Just make sure you can hold on to that car, but should be pretty simple. And then you got the little kink right out and out onto the Camel Straight. Going to be hitting massive top speeds, and again, going to be seeing a lot of stuff as Void Dawson as well out of the session, so that's already 2 cars out here into the chicanes. Took you dogs, thank you very much. But getting here into Sector 2, again, I apologize for not knowing all the corner names off the top of my head. Again, still trying to fully get set up here. But again, going to want to take about 4th or 5th gear through this corner here. And then you blast down into Pouon. If you're running enough downforce, you can take it absolutely flat. And, of course, you got to be careful about the track limits there on the outside. Track limits, of course, around Spa on this game, a little bit finicky in a couple places. Little lockup there, seemingly, from the V-carb of Owen. But coming here to the end of Sector 2, again, it's really important all around the circuit to carry speed and have a lot of confidence in that car. But, of course, now back down the back straight into the bus stop chicane. Owen here looking to pick up maybe a little bit of slipstream from the Alpine. And of course, is going to have to dive out of the way here. Of course, if you aren't running ABS into this section, could be very easy to lock up and go for a spin. Might see a couple of brave overtaking opportunities there on lap number 1. But Owen to the line is going to set the benchmark. It's going to be a 43.5 for 1 V-carb. Stratting behind, meanwhile, has invalidated. He'll come to line, but sets a 42.7 despite the invalidation. So Stratton considerably faster than his teammate here in the opening stages. Is kind of flicking through the grid to see Viperize is on a lap 14.9, so about 2/10 down on Stratton through the first 2 sectors of the track. Didn't seem to be the greatest exit there out of the bus stop, but a 43.8. So a little bit slow there. So potentially a lot of time lost in that final sector, potentially running a little bit wide coming out onto the back straight. And Viperize, not a great lap time to start it off. Here comes Eric Too Fast for you in the Aston Martin. Coming through the final couple of corners as well. Seemingly a lot smoother through there. And I think Ollie Jelly looking to tuck in behind him. And actually he's going to go top. Eric, not a great lap. 44.0, 42.7 from the McLaren of Ollie Jelly. Winner last time out in Zandvoort. And he sets the bar. Formula Jonah as well with a 44.4. And if you'll allow me a quick second, I'm going to check to make sure that because we are still waiting on 2 more drivers to join us in Strakasaur and in Avni OK. So we should have 20 drivers for this race. But yeah, not too many times on the board as of right now. Looks to be one of the Saubers coming up to the line. I believe that is actually that may be actually no, that is Ronhar on a push lap on a set of mediums. He's going to power to the line. That's going to be a 43.6. So certainly a solid lap time from that Sauber, but not super competitive as it stands. But we'll have to see if he can improve on that time at all. See if Strading does look. Actually, no, that's Emre Chetin that's in the Red Bull coming to line. That's the second fastest time, so that's a good lap time from him. His teammate of Rostamol, I think, taking some time to get those tires into the right operating window. Again, looks like most everybody on an in-lap as it stands, but it's Ollie Jelly leading in the early stages. Yeah, again, apologies. I'm just trying to make sure that we do get all of the planned 20 drivers in, as Ollie Jelly seemingly getting very aggressive there, a little bit risky on pit entry. But seemingly okay. Formula Jonah does go a little bit faster there, 43.842. That slots him up into 6th quickest, but only 9 drivers currently with times on the board. And so they're, of course, going to look to continue to try and bring those down. I guess kind of scrolling through the order, trying to see if anybody's on a lap. Breakfast King just getting underway. Speedy Gunner underway at the the top of the track in Sector 2. Sayao pushing as well. Isha behind him. But again, number of drivers without laps so far. 10:30 left to go in the session. Got Pancake setting up. Strakosaur just getting underway. Surprisingly not invalidating there. And actually, he's out of fuel. He missed the pit lane. So Strakosaur misses the pit lane there. And is going to have to trundle all the way back around for another lap on low fuel. And so that's a big miss from the Alpine driver. So he'll probably only get 2 laps in. But Viperize on an out lap. Formula Jonah, I believe, on an in-lap there. Again, we got Strading on an out-lap. Isha, though, looking to put together a challenge for a potential Group 2 championship. Still led, of course, by Kendricks in the Alpine. Who actually, I don't believe is with us. No, he's there in 14th again, still without a lap as it stands. So, Sayao going to be leading the group of 2 cars to the line, coming into the bust-up chicane now for Haas. Good run through there. Good exit as well, getting on the power. Not going to be a super competitive lap time, though. 44.7 for Sayao. Here comes Isha to the line. He'll only go 8th quickest, 44.3. So, again, not a ton of quick lap times here in this one. And again, we'll just have to see if they can continue to fall. And again, the yellow flag in Sector 2 is for Strakosaur trying to make his way eventually back around the circuit. Strading, though, on a lap, I believe that was, that may have been, who was that getting a time in? Somebody jumped up the board. I missed it, though. Strading, though, making his way through Sector 1. As is the McLaren of Viperize just getting underway. Again, hard to see exactly how much time is remaining in the session. I am going to, again, try to make sure that our drivers do make, if they are planning on joining. Purple, though, in Sector 1 for Strading, 30.9. Strading, of course, did drive in Group 1 yesterday, along with the likes of Ollie Jelly in a reserve capacity. So definitely keep an eye on some of those drivers to have loads of pace in this one. But through Pouan he goes. Of course, you got to chuck that car in, take a little bit of curb on the outside if you're feeling brave enough and want to carry that little bit more speed. And then again, keep working through Sector 2. But it does seem that Strading looking to save a little bit of ERS there. You can see that red light flashing at the back as you make your way through the slower part of the racetrack. 14.3 through the first 2 sectors. So Strading on a roll here in the early stages. And again, just getting between Ollie Jelly and Emre Chetin right now would be a good result. Of course, we're running down now into the bus stop. So where will Stratting come out? Very strong run through there. Stratting, power down to the line, and that's a 42.4 for the V-Carb. Of course, we got 9 drivers here in Group 2 looking to get a second win this season. Apologies. Oh, whoops. So we'll have to see what happens there. But 42.4 for Stratting. Viperize, meanwhile, 42.9. So a very solid lap time there from the McLaren. As they sit 2 and 3. We'll have to see if Owen can make anything to join his teammate. But he's down about half a second. And remember, last week, the V-Carbs both running fairly strong early in that race. A little bit wide there from Owen, and that's going to lead to an invalidation. So about Owen leaving time on the table. I'm looking to maybe take the fight to Ollie or Viperize, but about 6 minutes left to go in the session. Runhar, meanwhile, on a push lap here as he comes down to the bus stop. He currently sits 6th quickest. We'll see if this is a competitive lap time. It should be. He didn't check I'm in the race. Okay, so as Runhar goes 2nd quickest, another 42.4, but not fast enough to unseat Stratting. Yeah, Abney, I'd just stay in the lobby and prep to join the race then, if you do have the issue there, because we've come across that before. Does drop Emre down to 4th. Isha, 7th quickest for Sauber, so Sauber's joining the party as they look to make a strong statement. Pancakes, meanwhile, was up a 10th through the first 2 sectors, but he's going to dive into the pits here. Just going to look to slow it right down, but he currently sits 13th. Speedy Gunner, one of the few drivers without a lap right now, who's looking to get one on the board. 31.0 through that first sector. 15.4 at the end of Sector 2. It does look like that Ferrari has taken a couple of offs there into the gravel. Yeah, good. Just wanted to make sure that there was that agreement there. So it will be 19 on the grid. Apologies. I miscounted on that one. But Speedy Gunner coming here down into the bus stop for Ferrari. Not the smoothest run we've seen through there, but seems to get out comfortably. Not going to be a super quick lap time. 43.9 though, so would start in the top 10, slotting in just behind his teammate of Formula Jonah. 43.995 for Speedy, as Ferrari looks to continue a fairly strong performance in the Drivers' Championship. Anne-Marie Chetin, meanwhile, up about half a second through Sector 1, so he's fine. He could look to challenge the likes of Stratting or of the Sauber of Bar 2. But coming into the bus stop now, no traffic ahead of him, so should get it in clean. Of course, red light blinking at the back, indicating that you are low on fuel. Bit of a loose exit there, though, so going to lose a little bit of time there. It's going to be a 42.830 for Emre, so lost about a 10th in that final sector. But still good enough. But he is a little bit all over the place. I'm not sure if that is my end or his. Yeah, Emre Chetin currently 4th quickest with just under 4 minutes left to go. So could be just enough time to get an extra lap in. Breakfast King, meanwhile, one of the few drivers out on a lap. Not super competitive. I think is about 3/10 back of Speedy Gunner's Ferrari as it stands. We'll see if he has any pace in this final sector that he can pull together to try and get Mercedes on the board. But he is making his way through Sector 3 now. And again, into the bus stop. Very crucial to get this right. Just being a little bit too hesitant on the throttle can lose you a lot. And that's a great run there from Breakfast King. He'll power down into the line, but only good enough for 11th. Still lost a lot of time in that final sector, so potentially running a little bit more downforce. And a mistake there in Sector 2 caused Breakfast King to lose a bit of time. And that might be his qualifying over. And 11th, certainly not a bad position to start, as strategy can be very important here around Spa, as we'll likely see a combination of soft to medium, medium to soft, medium to hard, maybe even some hard-soft combos here in this race, depending on how brave our drivers want to be over the 22 laps. And safety cars, of course, could provide a big factor as well. Of course, if we do get to that pit stop phase, and do pass that stop phase without a safety car, there is a very good chance we could remain green this whole time, in which case we'll have a very quick race today. We'll have to wait and see. Emre Chetin going to dive into the pits, though, as I imagine most other drivers will. Kendrick's one of the few drivers out on a lap here, 32-0 first sector. And it does look like he has the fuel to push for another lap, should that be an option. That seems to be what he is setting up for. Looking to burn that little bit of extra fuel. So the Alpine currently leading in the Drivers' Championships. Kendrick's currently with as I'm checking the standings here, a 15-point lead over Isha Guardian Knight in the standings, 20-point lead over his teammate of Strakosor, and 24 over the McLaren of Ali Jelly, who currently sits in third. So should be very, very interesting. Only one win and 3 podiums total for Kendricks, but he's just continued to string together strong performances, and that's what's put him on 120 points through 9 rounds. With a minute and a half to go, he'll have clear track ahead of him as he looks to push for a better starting position. All drivers still in the race, with the exception of Emre Chetin, whose qualifying session is over, are out on track as of right now and should all get a potential lap in. Kendricks leading the way for this first pack. He's got the McLarens just coming up onto the kind of straightaway part of the Camel Straight behind him. But the McLarens will have Rossimol in the way. Kendrick's a little bit wide there. You can see get out on the gravel. That's going to be a big time loss for him. Just getting that little bit understeer, trying to carry that little bit too much speed out of that chicane. Of course, now going to run down into Puan. We'll jump to Ali Jelly, who's up a 10th and a half through Sector 1. Viperize, we did not have the same pop-up. I switched to him just a little bit late, but it'll be Kendricks, followed by Viperize, followed by Ollie, as we come across the line, as all drivers starting their laps. 30 seconds left to go in the session. So Rossimol may not get the stop in, but Kendrick's up over a second already, so 44.4 already, but that would only be good enough for a P11 start. But again, he's going to have that extra power from hot lap mode coming down here into the bus stop. And again, just focusing on getting as many starting positions as possible has to be the game here. As qualifying over, Breakfast King and Rossimol and Emre will not get laps in. First to set a final lap time of the session is going to be Kendricks, who's only going to go 9th quickest, and that lap time could fall very quickly. Here comes Viperize, matching his first 2 sectors, but picks up a good bit in the final sector. He's up to 3rd. Here comes Ali Jelly. DRS flitters there. He's going to be down on his lap time, so he's only going to go 4th quickest. Next in line would be the Ferrari of Jonah, but he is invalidated, so he will not improve. Sayo, meanwhile, up by over a second. Strakosor going to retire from the session, so he was not improving. So the next driver to cross the line will be the Haas. Of course, both we've got the Salvers and the V-Carbs coming. One of those Salvers has backed off. I think the question, is that Isha or is that Bartu, is going to be the question. Jonah is not improving. He has retired. Stay out of the line. He'll slot into 8th. Which Salver is that? That is Isha coming to the line. He'll slot ahead of Owen for 6th. Here comes Stratting the line, and he'll push that bar even further, 42.390. Here comes his teammate of Owen, up 6/10. He's going to lose a lot in that final sector. He's only going to go 2nd quickest, and I believe that should be the end of qualifying. Actually, no, Speedy Gunner still on a lap. He's up about a 10th. Here comes Eric out of the final corner. Just a couple of more drivers in the line. Eric jumps up into P8, drops Kendricks down out of the starting top 10. Speedy Gunner, can he pick up anything in this final sector? Down about 2/10, and then the last to the line will be Pancakes. So here comes Speedy to line. He'll pick up 3/10, jump up to P8, so a good starting position for him. And the Williams of Pancakes is not going to improve there, so he'll come to the line. So it's Stratting once again on pole. It's going to be Bartu alongside, and then the McLarens of Viperize and Ali Jelly sit 3rd and 4th. But Kendricks under a big risk here, losing some significant ground in the driver's standings, depending on how this goes. But definitely keep an eye on Kendricks to move up the field throughout the race. But yeah, it's Stratting by about a 10th only over Bartu. So it should be good, but pretty tight in those top 5. So expect those drivers to go at it. And then it's a bit of a gap down to Owen in 6th, but then it's from 6th to 12th, separated by less than a second. And so, again, going to be very interesting, going to be very strategy dependent here, as DRS very strong down the Camel Straight, so it's hard to if you can't pull out that more than a second, but also could be very easy to defend. Of course, we will have that 2-minute break now between qualifying and the race. So we do have a 2-minute break here on the grid. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So again, kind of as I was saying just a short while ago, strategy going to be very important here. If you're up at the front, medium's probably going to be the way to go, as you're going to want that little bit extra grip off the start. If you're towards the back, or if you're towards the mid pack, maybe you want those softs so you avoid getting bogged down, have a chance to kind of go at the cars in front. Maybe you're looking to get an undercut because you feel more comfortable as the defending car. Towards the back, maybe you're opting for those hards, try and hold out for a late race safety car, try and stick with the pack in the early stages, and use that softer rubber at the end of the race, if you go hard to soft especially, to try and get moving. So again, in that brief 2-minute break, we are expecting dry and dry in this one. So, shouldn't be any changeable conditions, unless this race does get extended significantly, which don't expect it should. Of course, pole here as a big advantage. As you can see on that left-hand side of your screen, you can see our Stratting's B-Carb, the Racing Bowl. You start normally from P1. You start on the kind of outside in that run into turn 1. Here at Spa, it's the opposite as the pole sitter. You do get that inside line into turn 1, which means defending significantly is a good bit easier, considering some of Stratting's kind of lack of confidence, we'll say, in getting off the grid. That's certainly been an issue, so potentially gives him the opportunity to hold on a little bit longer. But also, turn 1 can be a place where a lot of races can get ruined. You're really going to make sure that everybody is calm going into there. Because even if one driver is not, then that could lead to a 5-6 car stack up. And multiple drivers going out of this race. We are on the grid, 3, 4, and 5 lights. And we are underway in Spa, but it's a jump start from Stratting and Viperize as they'll get drive-throughs. So the pole sitter and P3 get drive-throughs in the early stages, and that's going to be a big loss for them. As there's contact in behind, that's Isha and Owen going off. They made contact and just stayed connected and went off into the gravel. Dawson as well with a poor getaway. Ali Jelly effectively leads this race from Bartu now as they come onto the Camel Straight, but the McLarens looking to box each other in. And accidentally here in the early stages, but it'll be Stratting and Viperize 1 and 2 with those drive-throughs. Ollie gonna slot into third. Bartu gonna cut the corner there and appropriately receive a time penalty in trying to take advantage of track limits. But 3 big penalties here in the early stages, and a championship contender plummeting down the field. Of course, that'll be great news for Kendrick, because the only downside for him at this point is that Ollie Jelly is the net leader of this race. And of course, 3 rounds left to go. So a big swing in the points here blows this race wide open for the championship. But again, lap number 1 here. And I imagine Stratting and Viperize probably going to try and stay out as long as possible before serving those drive-throughs, trying to make sure that the pack does spread out just that little bit. So that way the drive-through doesn't result in too much time loss. But we're going to come down into the bus stop for the first time. There's an Aston Martin of Eric very wide in the background. Actually, I think that's Speedy trying to go around the outside. Bit of a lockup from Bartu, and actually Stratting and Viperize is going to serve early. So that does give Ollie Jelly the lead of this race. But Stratting and Viperize do opt to serve that drive-through here on lap 1. So we'll see how much they can recover. But again, Ollie Jelly now with the advantage. You can see the Alpine of, that's actually Strakosaur and Kendricks, who are now up into 6th and 7th, as the Alpines doing a great job of working together. Of course, they are in a Drivers' Championship fight with each other. Meanwhile, up in the front for the lead, here comes Bartu with a run. Not going to get close enough to Ollie Jelly, though. And, of course, we'll have to manage that 3-second time penalty for cutting that chicane on lap number 1. But Ollie able to defend here. And again, tire management going to be a big thing. We'll pull up the detail to see the choices here. And we can see why those Alpines have jumped up the order so quickly, as both Alpines opting for the soft compound tire here in the early stages, as has Breakfast King. So the Alpines going aggressive here. So looking at a probable soft to hard, which has been Kendrick's bread and butter for multiple seasons here. And so we'll see how that continues. Meanwhile, Stratting and Viperize, again, just looking to close up to the back of the pack, just trying to pick up as many positions as possible. Those mediums, tire wear here, not going to be a massive factor, but should be just enough of one to keep our drivers kind of apprised of what compound everybody else is at. Meanwhile, Eric pulling away from Speedy Gunner. So got a little bit of a gap behind now. So it's 4 cars starting to pull away at the front, and they will have a DRS gap to the cars behind. There's a Haas running wide in the background. I believe that is Seau. But Ollie Jelly continues to lead here on lap number 2. Eric, though, is the one to set a fastest lap of the race. So we'll head down into Radion and Eau Rouge for the 3rd time in this race. And as we pop out onto the Camel Straight, Runhar, or Bartu, significantly closer this time. Of course, he has DRS. Will Ollie defend here as they make their way into the chicane? Again, Bartu gets close there, but doesn't make that move. Chooses to stick behind. So potentially a big, output of energy there from Ollie, as Rastamol and Stratting actually battling side by side briefly there, as I assume Stratting going to be a little bit frustrated, but Rastamol runs a bit wide there. So that's Stratting and Viperize, again, just looking to recover as much as possible. But Ollie doing a nice job at holding on to this lead. Meanwhile, Strakosaur and Kendricks found their way past Speedy Gunner. So now the soft tire runners can go firing off after the leaders. And it is Strakosaur, though, leading the way. It's a 2-second gap to the cars ahead. And it does seem that Kendricks has been a little bit more passive with his ERS usage. And I think especially having his teammate to work with, as well as potentially both Ferraris and both Haas's to work with, should everybody opt to work together, would be a very good sign for the rest of this race, especially because Eric has made a mistake there. He's fallen way off the front end of the field. So now it's Jelly, Runhar, and Emre leading the way. Speedy Gunner, meanwhile, looking to make a move on Kendricks into the bus stop. He's going to go side by side with Kendricks. We'll see on exit what happens there. Kendricks has to run wide, though. He'll hold on to 6th, but does have to take evasive action. You can see everybody funneling their way through turn 3. Viperize with a new fastest lap of the race, as he and Stratting have now showed up to two parts of that chase pack. Again, 15th and 16th for those two. We'll see what continues, but again, certainly going to be a big challenge if we do remain green. Ollie Jelly goes defensive and just times it poorly, and the 2 leaders out of this race. And as I say that, the safety car comes out. Ollie, I'd have to go and watch that move back, but it looked like Ollie Jelly tried to make a defensive move. Runhard didn't back out and went straight into the back of him. I'm actually going to have to pull upstream there to see what happens, but Emre Chetan, now the leader of this race on lap number 4. What happened there? I feel like every time something happens, every time I just turn away just a little bit. And I actually need to watch that back to see what exactly happened, because I turned to look at the standings. And so let's see what happened here. And yeah, was it? Yeah, Ollie, it's not a significant move from Ollie, but yeah, Runhard just goes right into the back of him. Yeah, Runhard just leaves the move way too late and just drives right into the back of Ollie Jelly, who did make a little bit of a defensive move on the straight, but it was nothing significant. And that is bad from the Sauber. Yeah, that is poor driving from the Sauber. So we'll see who all it's opts dive in the pit lane. Eric, Strakasaur, Kendricks looking to back the field up to lose as few positions as possible. Ferraris will double stack as well. Here comes Runhar. Isha will stay out. That's a Haas round as well. So Seao has gone round, but numerous drivers diving into the pits here. Seao disqualified from the session for driving the wrong way. So Seao is out because he spun and then tried to go into the pits. So he is now out. So Seao disqualified from the session while trying to make his way back to the pits. And again, it's going to be Emery leading from Isha from Viperize. So we'll see if anybody there decides to pit. This will be good news for Stratting, who's oddly enough opts for the soft. Potentially a mistake there from the V-Carb. But again, big incident between the two leaders here on lap number 1, or on lap number 4, has brought out the safety car. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to actually create a ticket for that. But I guess a couple of drivers who are in a great position here are the likes of Strakasaur and Kendricks, who now have the tire advantage as well. But we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Yeah, again, Emery leads, and I guess this does put Isha back in a decent position, but again, he is on a very old set of mediums. But again, I guess that does leave Eric technically as the net leader. Though Strakasaur, after a very rough showing at Zandvoort, should I have pit? I think you should have Viperized. I think going to the hards at this stage, because I think you lose a significant... we could very well see another safety car, but I think that was a mistake for those who did stay out. I think especially just because of how much time you'll lose under green flag, under a green flag stop. Granted, if we do get another safety car, you're going to be in probably the best position, as depending on when that safety car does come out, as Emery looks to be trying to overtake the safety car here. So not sure what exactly is going on, if he's trying to get those tires warmed up, or he's just thinking that that safety car is going that little bit too slow. But yeah, I think if you're Emery, Isha, Viperize, and Dawson, if we do stay green for the rest of this race, you're not going to be in the greatest spot. But again, we'll have to wait and see exactly what went down, or what goes down for the rest of this race. Before we make any distinctions. But again, if we do remain green, I think that, especially with fresh tires on cars behind, I feel like those who stayed out have a very good opportunity at being sitting ducks. Granted, if we get a virtual safety car as well, then that could still be great as safety car in this lap. So Emre will have control of the field, so he'll get it slowed down as the Mercedes safety car will pull away here. As again, Emre keeping it a pretty high speed. Safety car is pulling into the pit lane just about now. We'll see if he does get engine limited here. He is going to slightly, but now he will take off, and Emre will get back underway. Gets a good jump. Viperize is going to come under threat here from Eric, who's going to look to go around the outside here at turn number 1. Viperize going to shut the door, though, and hold on to P3 for the time being. But again, it is old mediums against fresh hards here as we get back to racing speed. Russell going to dive into the pits as well, though. Kendricks moves up into 8th ahead of Void Dawson on that set of new medium tires. As here comes Isha looking around the outside of Emre down the Camel Straight, and they'll take the edge there. And Emre actually going to go defensive there. Comes back to the racing line. Does get in Viperize's way, but no harm there. Here comes Viperize, though, looking for a move. As the Red Bull getting held up. Here comes Viperize looking down the inside of Emre, looking to get that move done. The Red Bull going to have to go the long way around to hold on to the position, but he won't be able to do that. And Viperize, very nice move there. And so it's now Isha 1, Viperize 2 here on lap number 7. As actually Viperize looked to run a little bit wide there, almost getting on the grass. But again, holding on to it comfortably as it stands. And again, pack very bunched up behind. You can already see a couple of drivers starting to make a breakaway here. As Stratting actually, potentially coming off a little bit worse wear on some of them there. Eric, though, having to defend now from Strakosaur, who, again, looking to take advantage of those mediums. And there is a gap opening up to those top 3. But again, those cars will have to pull out a significant gap in order to try and do anything for the rest of this race. Here comes Viperize looking to the inside. Going to back out of it, though, into the bus stop. Bit of a feint there, trying to maybe put the Sauber off. Yellow flag in sector 3. That is for Ollie Jelly out of this race, and that'll bring out another safety car. And that's going to go from bad to worse for the leaders, because that is incredibly unlucky timing, as a safety car that could have changed their race has now meant that they will have to drop to the back of the field as we once again go back under safety car here. But Ollie Jelly, second driver out of this race. And at this point, I'd imagine Isha, Viperize, and Emre going to dive into the pits here, as will likely Void Dawson. So, of course, again, we'll have to wait and see. But that, again, will leave Eric as the net leader of this race. But once again, under safety car we go. So should hopefully only get one more lap under safety car before we get back underway. Actually, I'm going to go back and clip that. But yeah, again, so hopefully we'll get back underway, start a lap number 9 here. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, apologize. I'm just going to backtrack so that way I can rewatch that incident on lap number 4 which of course we did catch live. Where is Kevwood? Kevwood is at least not here in this Group 2 session. As that's actually damage on the Salibur. I think he drove into the back of the safety car, so Isha's day goes from bad to worse as he now has to get a front wing change. Viper is looking to overtake by virtue of ghosting. He's not going to get it done, though, as Pancake's in, Dawson in, Stratting is already boxed, so Stratting going to pick up a couple of positions as he was able to time it up rather nicely. And that does bump him back up into P11. Isha, though, not going to get that front wing changed. He'll have to manage that damage for the rest of this race, as we saw that end plate coming off. I think he was time wasting. I think he was trying to get his damage fixed. He was trying to set up to get his damage fixed, Viperize, as he got front wing damage under that safety car. So I think that was some of the goal there, was trying to get into the settings menu to update that. But that does leave Eric Too Fast For You as the net leader of this race. You damaged your wing. Okay. Did you get front wing damage off that as well? Okay, so potentially contact causing some incidents there. As, at least checking your front wing, there, I guess the kind of difference, at least, of viewing those kind of wings immediately Viperize, is that his damage is visual as well, so I think he's got a bit more significant damage. He's down a front wing end plate, so that could be a factor as well. So we'll see. Safety car should be in this lap, as the entire field is here, as safety car is in this lap, so Eric, once again, now under control of the pack. Strachosaur second, Kendricks, Speedy in third, Kendricks in fourth. But Eric going to lead the way as we get back to green flag conditions. Again, we'll have to see when Eric goes, assuming it'll be after the chicane. Again, still holding off is the Aston Martin. We'll see when he chooses to jump. Strachosaur goes into the back of him, tries to time it up, doesn't do so successfully, and it's a good jump from Eric here. Start of lap number 10, we're back to green flag running as Eric leads the way out of safety car. Everybody now with a pit stop served, and already 4 cars starting to break away as Gabicho, not a great restart there, as he's fallen back a good bit, as has Runhar. Now down 1.3 seconds, with the gap opening up Avenue OK behind him. Again, it's Eric comfortably down the Camel Straight here. Here comes Kendricks, though, looking to make a move. Viperize 3 seconds due to track limit. Speedy defending the inside. Kendricks going to back out there as Speedy puts the squeeze on to keep the Alpine behind. As again, maybe, we see what should have successfully happened back on lap number 4. Though here on lap number 10. Speed Gunner, meanwhile, closing up to the back of Strachosaur. As again, both Alpines here in a championship fight with each other and looking to make things happen. Stratting, meanwhile, back up into 10th. He's back into the fight for points. And depending on how this race pans out, could he jump up the order? Formula Jonah in 5th as well. He's managed to find his way past Gavicho in the Haas. As Jonah, one of those drivers who's had a quietly solid year for Ferrari, currently sits 5th in the Drivers' Championship, and that's without a win. He currently sits on 80 points. So we'll see if he can pull out another very solid result. But of course, he might need some help from his teammate in that regard. But lap number 10 here, and DRS will get reactivated at the end of this lap. And you see 3 packs already beginning to form. 1st to 4th, 5th down to 10th, and then 11th and down. All kind of in their own races. but DRS going to be enabled here. And so will that allow Strakasaur and Kendricks to now take advantage of those mediums in comparison to Eric and Speedy Gunner? Of course, Strakasaur very close to the back of Eric's Aston Martin. And here they go through Radeon Eau Rouge, through that high-speed section. DRS gonna open up now on the back of that Alpine. 3/10 is the gap and closing. Kendricks and Speedy gonna battle behind. There goes the Alpine to the inside, though. Eric gonna defend. Strakasaur goes to the inside and gonna put the squeeze on. A little bit of a block pass, but it's a good pass from Strakasaur, who takes the lead here in Spa at the end of the Camel Straight at the halfway point. And it's now Alpine in the lead, a little bit wide though. Eric may have sensed an opportunity, tried to maybe put that car down the inside, but not able to find it. And Strakasaur able to keep him behind, but Eric, I think, running a lot more downforce, and more importantly, those hards going to continue to become stronger and stronger as this race continues. We shouldn't see any puncture risk for those running mediums at this stage, though potentially Owen, being on the oldest medium compounded tires, could be the first sign that a driver is at risk. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. Isha now dropping down the order. He's dropped all the way down to 16th now, as I think drivers are struggling to get past in this twisty middle sector. And Eric, you can now see, with a gap pulling up a little bit further to Strakasaur, down to half a second now. Gabicho looking to get that move done. Stratting has found his way past his teammate of Owen as he tries to recover. As again, Stratting is going to be a driver to keep an eye on those as the highest driver on a fresh set of hards, as he was a big winner of that second safety car, as it allowed him that free stop off the soft compounded tire that he put on. And as I say that, that's actually Strat, and I just caster cursed him, as he's going to go around there. As I said, he's going to be a driver to look out for. He's going to drop all the way down to the back of the order. Again, traction can be a big struggle out of that bus stop, depending on how aggressive you want to be with cars in front. And Stratting now going to drop all the way down to 15th. Meanwhile, Eric has actually dropped down to 8th. So I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like Eric and Kendricks came together in some way. As, yeah, Kendricks has front wing damage. So Eric and Kendricks come together. And so they're down in 8th and 9th now. As I mentioned that Speedy was having issues, so have Eric and Kendricks. So two of the leaders have a big incident, and that leaves now Strakasaur with a huge advantage. Speedy Gunner, meanwhile, has come out of it with no damage. Formula Jonah now sits in 3rd. And so that is huge, especially in the championship fight. As Strakasaur, 20 points to his teammate with 3 rounds to go, and is now in a position where he can try and pull away and win this race and give us about as close to a tie as you could possibly expect with, again, with Brazil and Abu Dhabi to go. And of course, the other big challengers to Kendricks and Strakasaur, and Ollie Jelly and Isha or Guardian Knight are effectively out of this race. So potentially there was a look to earn for a move into turn 1, or potentially a bit of a mistake from one or the other driver. And that has led Strakasaur to be in a great spot. Here comes Gabicho looking to the inside of Jonah. Jonah going to give him space. We're going to get a better exit here. Runhar as well is there. Going to look to the inside. Now, are we going to see side-by-side Radeon Eau Rouge? Not quite. They're going to get into single file. But Formula Jonah looking for any way past. He'll have the DRS, though. Little bit of a wiggle there, though, from the Ferrari. Here comes the Sauber, though, looking to box him in. Haas going to go defensive. Going to be 3 wide here down the Camel Straight. Runhard moves up into P3. Owen looks to make a move down the inside, but it's going to be Jonah with the advantage, though they're going to concertina back up. And it's going to be Runhard in 3rd, Jonah 4th, followed by Gabicho, Owen, and then the Aston Martins. Again, still plenty of racing left to go, though, so you can manage a missing front wing end plate, depending on how close this pack is. As big slide there from Jonah, running a little bit wide there. Eric potentially picking up a little bit of dirty air from the Sauber in front. But again, it looks to be a battle for 3rd now. We'll go ahead and pull up penalties as well. Speedy Gunner with 3 seconds of time penalties. But so does Runhar, so those two are racing. Meanwhile, Jonah in a great spot. Viperize, though, picking up another 3 seconds to track limits. though he is back up into the points, at least on track, though he is running net 11th as it stands. It looks to be a car running into the grass there. I think it was Owen and I think it was Gavicho running into the grass there a little bit, trying to stay ahead of Owen as they battle side by side. Eric looking to continue to hold on to that Aston Martin. Kendrick's still there. Viperize still there. As again, big battle for third brewing. As actually Runhar has pulled away from Jonah that little bit, and Speedy's now going to come under threat. But again, Strakasaur running comfortably up there in the lead. Here comes Speedy, though. Bar 2 feints to the inside, doesn't go for it. Speedy will remain defensive here as the two cars go at it for P2. Bit of a wiggle there from the Sauber. Again, going to feint to the inside, but not going to make the move. Meanwhile, Owen found a way past Gavicho as Jonah has actually dropped all the way to 7th here. Speedy with a bad run there through Puon. He's going to fall behind the Sauber of Ronhar. As Breakfast King, the next recipient of a track limits penalty. Viperize has found his way past Kendricks as he looks to gain that little bit extra time for that penalty. But Strakasaur continues to lead here by 2.8 seconds. I think Speedy potentially looking to use the Sauber ahead of him, as it'll be 8 to go when we cross the line. We're going to get on the power here. Start lap number 15. It's now already down to a 2.4 second gap to Strakasaur ahead. Again, remember, almost certainly a penalty coming for the Sauber of Ronhar for that big incident with Ali Jelly. But they're going to run through Radion Eau Rouge. No DRS this time, though, for Ronhar, so it'll be opened up on the back wing of Speedy Gunner's Ferrari. And again, he'll be able to keep pace here. But it does seem that Speedy Gunner's pace starting to fall off just a little bit, so potentially really aggressive here on the tires for that Ferrari. As we're up to 10 laps old. Formula Jonah. Does Formula Jonah have damage here? Trying to see on that Ferrari, just to see why he's falling down the order so much. It doesn't seem to be any visual damage on Jonah's Ferrari as of right now. So it seems to be A-okay there. But again, just going to have to wait and see. But a number of drivers looking for first wins here. Owen showing some solid pace. Again, and just trying to keep up with some of these other drivers in that V-car. Big slide from the Aston Martin behind. Formula Jonah, though, is the recipient of the time penalty. That was Eric with the big slide there in the background. And again, the gap to Strakasaur just keeps falling now. And again, a lot of top speed there on the Sauber. That's causing him to pull so much closer. But yeah, again, I think Speedy just trying to use the car ahead just to make sure that he doesn't have to use that much battery. He gets that advantage of DRS and is just able to kind of stick with your leader. Or sorry, and stick with your driver in P2, I should say. It is technically still Strakasaur leading, and I guess Owen in net P2. But 7 laps to go. And again, drivers trying to chase each other down. As 2 safety cars already in this one. And again, there's your third retirement. Eric going to find his way past both the Haas and the V-Carb as the Aston Martin tries to recover from an earlier incident with Kendricks, who now sits back in 9th. Viper is also having a nice recovery so far. He's back up into 7th after getting that drive-through penalty on lap 1. But yeah, lap number 16 of 22. And Bar 2 has closed the gap to within DRS range of your leader. But I think the name of the game here for Strakasaur is you just want to keep with this pack, because Speedy Gunner has that 3-second time penalty. Bartu has a 3-second time penalty, and likely another one coming after that big incident with Ollie Jelly on the Camel Straight on lap number 4, which of course we saw live. But running now down into the bus stop. It doesn't look like he'll break DRS this time. And we'll have DRS now. So top 3 within DRS range of each other. As Eric sets actually a new fastest lap of the race, 45.822 on a very old set of hards. That is a mega lap from Eric to potentially nick a bonus point. Eric, of course, does currently sit in 10th on 44 points. So he'll be looking for a good showing. And I think a finish of 4th would be, a finish of 4th would be, I believe, tied for his best on the season as Guardian Knight 45.6 drops that bar even further, so that would take the bonus point out of contention. Speedy Gunner, meanwhile, must have had a bad run through turn 1 as he's fallen to a 2.5 adrift of Ronhar. But we'll stay on board with the on-track battle for the lead. Yellow flag behind, that's for Rostamol. That's going to bring out a safety car here late on in this race. So lap 17 of 22, it looks like Rostamol went round at Radion Eau Rouge, and he's trying to recover that Red Bull. As he went off Radion Eau Rouge, and I assume that's a damage resulted safety car. So I imagine we're going to see everybody dive into the pits here, as I assume we'll get back underway at lap number 19. And it'll be a shootout to the end. Yeah, Strakasaur going to dive in, Ronhar going to dive in, Speedy dives in, Eric, and everybody going to dive into the pit lane here. Of course, this does bring the likes of Kendricks back into the race. Emre actually going to opt to stay out here, which I think a big mistake. He's just going to try to defend as much as possible. But definitely going to be a driver to keep an eye on as this race continues. Striding in, Dawson in, Pancakes in, and I assume Isha and Rostamol will be as well. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but fresh softs all throughout the field as we get back under safety car. So we'll see at least a minimum of 3 laps racing here. But yeah, again, lap number 18, and we are getting underway. We'll see if we get back underway this lap. Very possible, but Emre opts to stay out here. But yeah, again, we'll have another lap here under safety car, and we'll get 3 laps underway. But, yeah, I mean, not much to say about this one. Certainly would want it to be a bit cleaner. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens to end this one. But Viper is now running 8th, stratting with a chance at points. And, time penalties going to be big here. Let's see if Kendricks can recover any points, but Strakasaur certainly in the best position. Yeah, I mean, generally I'll have a discussion about what's going on in the race, but I don't know. This one, I don't know if it's just being lower energy today, just because I beat my ass in the gym, or what's going on. But yeah, I apologize. Apologize if this stream isn't quite up to kind of normal levels of energy. I don't know. Sometimes you don't have words for some of the things, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just need to snort caffeine. I don't know. Who knows? I ain't doing a caffeine enema for the last 3 laps at least, but the racing should prove interesting enough. Again, 14 drivers on fresh, soft tires, and only your leader, Emre, who did opt to stay out there on a fresh set of hards. But again, just still waiting to see what exactly happens. But safety car is in this lap. And again, we'll have to wait and see. Strakasaur looking to get himself stuck back in to the fight for the Drivers' Championship. A number of drivers looking for their first win of the season. Strakasaur looking to be the first to make it 2. Only driver in the top 5 with a race win so far this season. And we're back underway here to start lap number 20, and it's a great restart here from Strakasaur. He might have a run into turn 1. He'll think better of it, though. He'll hold back for the time being, try and save some battery for the Camel Straight. Going to get a great exit there out of turn 1, though. And again, all over the gearbox of the Red Bull. And again, just biding his time, waiting to get that move done. And here we go, through Radion and Eau Rouge, onto the Camel Straight. And it's going to be full attack here from Strakasaur as we blast ass down into turn number 4. Emre going defensive. Here comes Strakasaur, looking around the outside. Who's going to be brave on the brakes? It's surprisingly Emre, who will hold on to the lead here on lap number 20. Of course, going to be defending with his life, but those hards going to be in danger now. As we head into No Name, it's 3 drivers now effectively in those top positions. Owen, meanwhile, up into 6th. And they'll continue to battle here through Sector 2. DRS could prove a big factor as well, because Emre could be burning a lot of ERS here in order to try and stay in front. Speedy Gunner, 3-second time penalties. That's going to be massive with this field not spreading out at all. And that'll be the advantage of Owen, Stratting, Avni, as they look to pick up a couple of extra points. But Emre still holding on fairly comfortably on that set of hard compound tires. But already you can see that red light flashing at the back. Avni out of ERS. He's going to be a sitting duck here, as it seems that he burned all of that ERS in the opening stages. Here comes the Alpine. Here comes the Sauber. And here comes the Aston Martin of Eric. We're going to be looked like 3 wide, but it's going to be 2 by 2 here into the bus stop. and it is going to be Bartu with the advantage. Strakasaur with a little bit of oversteer there. DRS is going to be enabled. We're looking to be 3 wide almost into turn 1. It'll be side by side, though, behind the leader. Bartu, though, looking to hang around the outside. There is contact, though. And again, we're going to remain side by side. And it's going to be Bartu who comes out worse. He's going to drop back to 4th. We're going to go through Radion No Rouge, incredibly tight here. A couple of drivers all over the racetrack, somehow all managing to hold on to it. And it's going to be a DRS scramble here to get around the Red Bull. Strakasaur going to go to the outside. Eric going to go to the inside. Bartu going to go to the inside. Emre drops down to 4th, but it's Strakasaur in the lead. Eric in P2, Bartu in 3rd. And again, it's going to be a scramble here. Now it's a top 3. Eric looking for an incredibly risky move, incredibly dangerous move to the inside there, potentially outbraking himself, and somehow him and Strakasaur managing to hold on to their cars. But now it's the front 3 who are going to have an advantage to break away from the chase pack. That probably puts Owen at a contention for the race win. But I think Strakasaur in a position where he just has to hold with this chase pack. And I think if you're Emre, you're just trying to do the same, as it's going to be 1 lap to go next time round here at Spa. And it's a mistake there from Eric. He's going to drop behind Bartu, as he didn't get the greatest run out of there. And so that gives Strakasaur a massive advantage. As here comes Speedy now. Look around the outside. And Emre defends from Speedy. Speedy is out of this race as he got into a big wreck with Emre. That'll almost certainly go to Stewards Review. But that drops Emre down out of the points and promotes Owen up into 4th. And we'll start the final lap of this race. Huge crash there. As Speedy trying to hang it around the outside. And I don't know whether it was understeer or what there from Emre, but he's going to drop down and out of the points now. And start the final lap. Bartu will have DRS here. Owen in a bit of his own race right now. Here comes Bartu, meanwhile, looking to get a move done. He's not going to look to get a move in there, though. Actually going to look to the inside there of Strakasaur, who is able to defend. As a great run through that chicane. Bit of a lockup there. Going to, again, be all over the back, and they're going to concertina up here. But final lap. Owen now in this fight. As Strakasaur looking to continue to defend. As, yeah, Strakasaur having to take a very defensive line. Bit of a twitch there from Bartu. There's Eric having to take an ace of action to the grass. As Bartu had to try and recover the car. That boosts Owen up into 3rd. As what's going to come of this race, as Bartu again trying to hang it there, contact with Strakasaur, Owen's in it, it's going to be a tight run to the line, and Bartu and Strakasaur banging, it's 2 by 2 into the final sector of this race. It's Eric on the outside, Eric and Bartu are around, Bartu and Eric make contact and are out of this race. It's going to come down to Strakasaur and Owen for the win. Viperize has recovered up to 3rd on track as a big wreck there in Sector 2. And here we come now, down into the bus stop. Can Owen do anything here on exit? Or can Strakasaur hold on out of the final corner? And it'll be Strakasaur, first to 2 wins on the year as he takes victory here in Spa. Owen comes in 2nd after chaos on that final lap. Kendricks somehow recovers to 3rd and so manages to staunch the bleeding to only 10 points over his teammate. But chaos in the final stages, chaos in the final sector, and that's your race. Yeah, I don't know what to say there. Yeah, don't know what happened, but just because didn't have the greatest angle. But actually, Kendrick's staunching the bleeding to 9. But at Strakasaur, first driver to 2 wins on the season, and it took us till round number 10. Owen with a great drive as well for V-Carb. But yeah, Strakasaur, Owen, Kendrick. Strakasaur and Kendrick looking to make it a fight. in the dying stages of the season has 10 points in between the two teams, and that very well may have also won the championship for Kendricks. Stratting and Viper is also recovering for points after those early drive-thrus. Avni in a solid spot. Guardian Knight, surprisingly, finishing in 5th after penalties. But I think a lot of stuff is going to happen in this one that will be post-race, so I'll try to keep you apprised if I can next week. But I think it'll be a lot. But stay tuned. We'll see if we have a Group 3 stream later today. Also around Spa for the 4th time this weekend, as all of our groups lined up. If you're interested in joining F1, though hopefully it'll be cleaner for your first race, we do plan on having a Season 10 on this version of the game, and we also have Le Mans Ultimate. So if either of those things do interest you, feel free to join in this one. But yeah, congratulations to Strankos, took till round 10 for a 2-time Season 9 winner. And we'll go into the last 2 rounds with a championship fight between 2 teammates on our hands. It's the war of the blue and pink between Strankosor and Kendrick. So until next time, we will see you later.